Hey, what's up traders? Before you get into this video, we're running a contest for everybody who likes, comments, and to subscribe to my channel. We're gonna choose a winner at the end of the month, give you free access to my training academy, or if you're already a member of the academy, then a free strategy session with me, 30-minute phone call, get ironed out whatever part of your trading game you need help with. And yeah, so like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna choose a winner at the end of the month, and enjoy the video. Thanks for your support. Peace. Yo, what is up, everybody? Thanks to everybody hopping on here. Appreciate you. Cool, we got some people hopping on right now. If you can, please keep your microphones muted. So if we have quite a few people on here, just so there's no like feedback or anything like that. So yeah, thanks for hopping on. If you have any questions, just ask in the chat box, and I'll definitely go through there. And what I want to cover today is definitely, we're going to take a look at some signals. We're going to take a look at what's happening in the market. But actually, my iPad, where I was keeping a bunch of charts and stuff, reset itself. So I have to start from scratch with a lot of the charting. So bunch of questions I always get is about technical analysis and how to set up your charts when you're going. So I'm going to show you exactly as well, like when I break down a chart, how I go from the larger time frames and then track it down to more like entries and that kind of thing. So we'll do that. We're going to look at dollar Swiss, which I send a signal out for that to the free channels as well. And so if you have any other pairs you want me to look at, we'll take a look at gold. Everybody always asks about gold too. So we'll take a look at that and hopefully find some good setups going into the Asian session, because it seems like New York session's still kind of out. And yeah, man, so thanks for hopping on. If you just got on here, like, give yourself a pat on the back, because obviously you actually care enough to want to be able to like learn more. So that's the thing about trading, man, is that you have to, there's like different webinars and stuff that I get on. I have mentors, and you have to always be trying to learn about what's going on in the market. Too many people like hit me up and they're, but like I can see how much progress they're putting in on my course and in their training. And you have to be obsessed with doing this, man. And I'm telling you, it will change your life. But like anything that's worth it, you got to put in the time, you got to put in the effort. So, yeah, so let's get right into that. Yeah, facts, dude. Yeah, Angelo, you already know what's up, man. You have to put in the time. And I'll start getting into some charts before I go on a rant about this. But in my training in the psychology section, I do talk about like, you got to just learn to play the game. You have to forget about the money part of it. If you're too focused on the money, then that's not sustainable. You have to be like, just like get excited. It doesn't, it doesn't happen overnight, but you got to learn to get excited about just like figuring out a setup, figuring out like your own style, and then just like learning to beat it over and over and over again. Like if you start thinking about this being the ultimate video game, like, I don't know, when I grew up, like I was playing like Madden and GoldenEye and FIFA and like video games and stuff, and I got like super good that I could like beat the computer on its hardest setting every single time. I could kick its ass. The thing is, this is always the hardest setting. If you start thinking of it as a video game, like, dude, I just want to get to where I can beat this over and over and over again most of the time, then the money will follow. That's the actual trick about it. If there was to be any trick, that would be the one, is just like learn to play this game over and over and over. So that being said, let me show you how I play the game, at least how I set up my charts. And so this is the dollar Swiss right here. So I sent out a trade to you guys in the free group. And so this is what I'm looking at. And, with my charts and stuff, I don't put too many lines, and I guess you would call this like naked trading, right? So this is a weekly chart right here. This kind of, these boxes up top, hopefully not too much in your way, but this is a weekly chart. That should be better. And so I like to split things off into sections And you can see, you know, we're in a big section here, and so we're in a big zone right there. And so, you know, that's just kind of how I break it down on a weekly chart. Then I'll go to a daily chart, and you can see that here's this zone, here's this zone. We broke down and then broke back inside of it and then broke back down again. So I like to call that a false breakout. This, I would consider this a false breakout. And typically I teach this in the course, like a false breakout leads to a breakdown. And, you know, we can see that, you know, we're kind of, I wouldn't say we're breaking down. It's just such, there's like so many fundamentals going on in the market right now with the coronavirus that, you know, it's like really a lot of technical analysis doesn't apply, because one headline can break and then boom, like we're going complete opposite direction. If you've been trading the past 2 weeks, surely you've experienced that. I mean, it's like, it's crazy with this virus and all the news and everything that's happening. So, but on a technical basis, you know, I think this is an easy setup to squeeze 6 or maybe 20, 30, 40 pips out of, right? And so what I'm looking at now is if I go to the hourly, whenever I see like a setup like this, you know, I usually take it because the risk to reward is so good. And so what I mean by that is we can set our risk, we can set our stop loss somewhere above here. I typically shoot for this this last high right here, and the reward, you know, greatly outweighs that, because if history continues to repeat itself, and until it stops repeating itself, you just have to believe that the probability is that it will continue to repeat itself. If it continues to repeat itself, then I'd say we're good for, you know, at least this low down here, 20, 40 pips to the downside, right? And so, you know, typically I set stop losses at 40 pips, but, you know, you could really, if you just wanted to be tight about this, you could do 15 pip, 20 pip stop loss and really like up the risk reward here. So I like this setup a lot. There's a lot going on with the markets, obviously, but from a technical analysis standpoint, this looks super, super good. So on the opposite side of that, let's take a look at the US dollar, Japanese yen. And US dollar yen is my favorite Forex pair to trade. And so these are VIP signals that we're in right now. So, you know, definitely, you know, have a look at these. You can enter them. You know, I'm cool with sharing them now because you actually took the time to get on this webinar, which is awesome. So I think this 110.3 level is an excellent, the risk reward, this 110 level continues to stay. And the thing is we've experienced last week a major breakout in the US dollar yen. So to backtrack a little bit, and I'll take these entries off here. To backtrack, we had this huge breakout, and this is like a multi-year trend line. And so what I mean by multi-year trend line, and this is like a term that I use a lot, and if you're looking at trend lines, you want to go to the daily chart, you want to go to the weekly chart, and you can go back, you see these numbers at the bottom here. How far does this trend actually like maintain its relevance? And so you can see here back to July 2018. And in fact, we can actually zoom out and even go further. And now look where we're at. Okay, so we're all the way back to September 2015. So you guys following me? Like put some yeses or something in the chat box if you are like following along, if this is making sense. So this is how strong this level is right now. Awesome, cool. Thanks for doing that. I'm just checking in with you. Okay, so this is how strong this level is right now. And so the fact that we broke out of this, now this is this is a straight up textbook breakout, right? And so I'm a big breakout trader. Once a move's been confirmed like this, and all of y'all are probably experienced enough to where you know about like a breakout and a retest, and this is a breakout and a retest, and this is on a daily chart. So we could, as long as we stay above this level, and remember how strong this level is, going all the way back to 2015, like we can go back to a weekly chart. This is where it is on the weekly. So this is a legit breakout. On this weekly chart, man, we can go all the way to this level. I think this is doable. Like maybe not right off the bat like this week, but 114, 115 after extended period of time, I think could definitely happen as long as we stay above this right now. So the question is, now we have the coronavirus. Now I'm going to get into some fundamentals, and with fundamental analysis, it is like, so just to think about it like rationally and logically, because like, you know, fundamental analysis, when you get into like economics and, you know, that kind of thing, of world economics, it can get pretty complex. But with the coronavirus right now and all the world economies, like China has come to a halt. Italy, there's been a ton of cases confirmed in Italy. So dude, like Europe is coming to a halt. Say this continues, and by the looks of it, it's going to. What's the one currency at the end of the day, not excluding gold, what's the one currency people are going to want to have? They're going to want to have US dollars, because it is the world currency at the end of the day. And like when everything else, if everything else goes to shit, people are going to want to have the dollars. And that is why it is, you know, the ultimate safe haven currency. And I talk a lot about safe havens and stuff like that in my course, but that could be the fuel that would, you know, rocket it up here to this, like, you know, at least to these highs, which would be around 114. And so keep in mind, we're on a weekly chart here. So, but if we go down to the daily, you can see this, it doesn't look too far off. And so I see we have a question here. Angelo taking notes. Awesome, dude. Good. So yeah, and so now we can do something I call, and I teach this as well, you know, like fanning trend lines. And so you can use these other spikes and map out our resistance levels. So where we are now, 110.3. If you wanted to do like a set and forget type trade, and like on a longer term, or even a swing trade, 111.70 would be an amazing target. And just to backtrack, like where we were, like here is this massive trend line. Here's the breakout. So you could set your stop loss right here at like 110.8. So that would be like a 50 pip stop loss compared to, say we're going to 111.7. So that would be some super good risk to reward. And actually you could put a stop loss at, I think, like 109.9 and be shooting for 111.7, somewhere up here, because remember, this is a massive breakout. So if you had some crazy monk-like discipline and you just held this until we hit these like 114 levels, that would be an amazing trade. That could like make your whole year, really. So as long as we stay above this level, I'm buying US dollar yen on dips. US dollar JPY, I'll say it one more time, just look to buy the dips on it. So you can, just like this was a dip, we're at a dip now, right? So this is why in my VIP group, you know, I've been sending out multiple positions on this. And if you're in this group and you can see like, because I share the trades from the VIP group, like US dollar JPY plus 20, US dollar plus 40, because sometimes, you know, we get taken back out at entry. So here we are on the hourly chart. And I think it's just kind of a matter of time until we take off again, because we've just kind of consolidating on this support level now. And so this is like how I like to break down my charts. So you can see I go to the large time frame, then zoom and see what the big picture is. Then I zoom in, and you know, I think it's just going to be a matter of time until we get another pop here. So this is super dependent on the stock market and the S&P 500. And I know some of you all are probably like pretty beginner traders, and you're like, man, I just want to learn how to trade Forex. I don't care about stocks. But it's super important that you start to like, and when you join my group, this will be like, you'll be studying this. You don't have to be trading it, but how the market correlates with it is so important. So, you know, since the coronavirus broke out, look at this massive sell-off. So this is why the market's going, you know, batshit crazy right now, is because of this. So I think it looks like as long as we hold the support, then maybe we could get a bounce here. But man, the thing is, if we break back below here, this is not going to be good for the U.S. economy for sure. So this would be very, very bearish on like multiple different levels. So if this falls off, then, you know, you're going to see gold jump up again. You're going to see the yen continue to strengthen. But if we get a bounce here, which I think could be pretty probable, who knows though, because of the virus, you are going to see a jump in the US dollar yen pairs. So yeah, I mentioned gold, so let's take a look at it. This is pretty difficult right now. Like, I don't see a really good entry right now because like, this is a huge rejection candle right here. That big wick, when you see something like that, that a lot of times looks for a top. So I do think, don't get me wrong, and if you've been watching my other videos on gold, I do think it's going much, much higher, like to 1750. But for me to really want to get in and establish a position on it, I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm hoping for a move somewhere up to here. And so when I see something like this as well, this is when I really want to use my Fibonacci's to really get a good target. And so this number right here, Angelo, if you're taking notes, 61.8, this is what's called the golden fib ratio. And this is typically will act as a hard level of support or resistance. And so if we can get down to 1602, man, that's going to be an amazing buying opportunity on gold. But you can see how I'm still pretty hesitant to buy it up here, because look where we are still on the weekly RSI, like super overbought. And on the daily RSI, super overbought. Like, I'd like to see it kind of reset itself down here and then become a buyer again. Like, you can see it's resetting itself on these lower time frames. Like, here's the 4 hour, here's the 1 hour. But the thing is that all we need is like one more super negative headline about gold and, you know, or about the virus, and then this is gone again. So, you know, and gone much, much higher. So gold is going to act as a safe haven currency, like when there is like global panic, which is what's starting to happen with coronavirus, is for real a global panic about this virus. It's the only going to be jet fuel for people to be like, man, I only think where my money is safe is by buying gold. And I think that's true. So that's going to be a catalyst to see gold push much higher. But man, if we can get an entry down here around 1602, that would be like a baller ass entry, because man, you could gear up to make literally 1,000 pips, because from here we're probably going up to these 1750 levels. And the reason I have this on here, why I know that 1750, two reasons. Fibonacci is the 78.6 retracement. So this is the 1602 entry that I would like to shoot for, but you know, maybe that's wishful thinking. Here is the 78.6. Now this is the kicker. All right, so just to teach you a little something about structures and bull flags. And man, I know I'm just drilling you all with a ton of information here, but I just want you to know that, you know, for one, if you're like, don't know anything about me and you're just like in that group and just joined, this is all stuff that I teach, and I for real am trading this stuff myself. So just so you know. So here is this massive breakout that we had last year when the Fed cut interest rates, okay? And then, if you've been watching gold, we are in a bull flag pattern, like a bullish consolidation here, and this was around Christmas is when we broke out. I don't know if any of y'all remember that. And so this is kind of a textbook bull flag structure right here. And so traditionally and technically for a bull flag formation, the breakout will equal the flagpole, okay? So this would be the bottom of the flag. And so if I zoom out here, you see how this looks like a bull flag or a pennant? I mean, it looks like, you know, a golf pin or something. So, but typically this formation will complete. Of course, this isn't always, but you know, nothing's always in trading and Forex and the markets, but this is a bull flag, and typically for this structure to complete itself, the breakout will equal the pole itself. So if I take this and then match it up to the breakout, look where it equals, right? So, I mean, it is just at this same 78.6 level. So a big part about trading is like putting all the clues together. And so again, here is that pole, right? This is pretty crazy, right? Hopefully you're following along here, but dude, look at this. So, and then this is the breakout. And so this kind of has it going even a little bit higher to 1750. So like when you have all these things mix up and line up like that and create a confluence is what it's called, you know, it's worth paying attention to. So my goal and hope is to get something like this. I'll move back to 1602 from where we are now. And, you know, we will definitely be trading this in the VIP group. It's like I've been talking about this potential setup for a while now. and then riding that back up to, and cashing in big off that. So does this like long-term plan on gold make sense? So if we can get a retracement back here, and just by the look of this wick, it could happen, you know, but being a buyer along here and buying dips, just like I said about US dollar yen, is going to be a great game plan for sure. So that's the main things I'm looking at. Of course, the big thing is following the coronavirus. So is there any, before I wrap up, is there any pairs you guys would want me to look at? Anything at all? Like while I'm here, while you got me here? So I'm definitely looking at, okay, AU. Okay, for sure, man. Good question, dude, for sure. So as far as AU goes, man, Aussie dollar, look at it right now. It's been getting just destroyed because of the China coronavirus. And like, if you're wondering like why is Australia getting killed by China's coronavirus, Australia and China, Australia is China's #1 trade partner. So, you know, geographically, here's China and here's Australia. They are so close to each other. They do tons and tons of trade. So, you know, just looking at this chart right now, do you remember, like, you know, 20 minutes ago, I said a false breakout typically leads to a breakdown. This right here, that's a false breakout on Aussie US dollars. So this is on a weekly chart. If I go to the daily, you can see here false breakout and then a breakdown, right? So a false breakout usually leads to a breakdown. And this also looks a lot like a descending wedge pattern. Okay, so but the thing is, it's so tempting to buy it down here, and I think that could be a great trade. But just like I said, like from a fundamental standpoint, like the world right now wants to invest in US dollars because that's the safest bet right now is in terms of the coronavirus. I think though, if you can find a good entry down here, I think honestly, I think this looks like it could be a great trade. And I think you could enter it right now and probably squeeze a few pips out of it. You would just want to keep your low, keep your stop loss just above that last low. And I honestly think it has potential. Like if you draw the same descending wedge that I have here and it breaks back inside this triangle and it breaks back inside here, then that's an excellent signal for a buy. That is a huge buying opportunity and a good big signal. And a lot of times, I think these descending wedge patterns are actually reversal patterns. But for something like this to actually happen, we're going to need like some sort of resolution, some sort of vaccine, and like for the love of God, some like good news about the coronavirus, because it's just getting like worse and worse and worse, and like, you know, shit is just spreading, and dude, it's scary. But as far, I think you could scalp that along that bottom and score some good pips. So I have AJ from Paula and GJ from Angelo. So great questions. So just since I covered AUD I'm going to go to AUDJPY first, because of you can see how bad Aussie's getting beat down here in terms of the coronavirus still. So I don't really see a huge, like, so when I see this, just like I said, first things I do is zone things off here. And so just looking at it by this, Paula, this looks super, super bearish. So I think this best play you could do here, now can you see this? See how we're in one zone here, we're in a second zone here, and now we're trading in this third zone. So it's like price is stepping its way down. I teach this in a section of the training called fanning trend lines, because this will make what looks like a fan as it's staircasing its way down. So if you could get like a move back up to here, which might happen because we're divergent on the RSI here. So this is pointing to, at least a pop upwards. If you can get some sort of move to retest this trend line and then a move lower, this would be an excellent selling opportunity around like 72.85. But the question is it going to go, is it going to rally that much? So, I think if we see some movement out of Aussie, we would see it. We will be seeing it in the in this upcoming Asian session here in a few hours. So that's kind of how I look at AUD or AUDJPY right now. So I'll send this to that group right now, or like after this webinar as well, so you can match up your charts. Yeah, no problem. So you can match up your charts with it. So there's AUDJPY, and then lastly, I'm going to take a look at the pound yen. And so this looks like a good selling opportunity. Remember, I talked about false breakout leads to a breakdown. Look, we're back inside this cross here. I think you could put a sell on. We're at 142.4. This looks like it's going lower. I mean, nothing's for sure in trading, obviously. But if everything gets worse with the coronavirus, which it looks like it's going to, and technically we've broken down outside of the support, which was holding it up, I think a move, we've broken this trend line here. I'll take this off so it's less confusing. We've broken this trend line. So, a move lower definitely looks like it's going to happen. And actually, I'll probably send a signal off on this because it looks like such a good trade. So this looks good. I like US dollar Japanese yen for sure. And I think looking for lower prices on gold is going to be, an excellent long-term play. And I'm going to put this up here. I'll send it to the group for you all to have. And so, yeah, man, and more than anything, it is tough trading right now. Like the markets, the way they are, is so volatile. And let's check up here on US dollar Swiss. And so this is where we started out at. Hopefully you all took this trade. I shared it with you. But it looks like we're about to hit this, our take profit, 20 pip take profit target, which is awesome. So yeah, this turned out to be a pretty good trade here. So you can see just how I started off, like talking about the risk to reward and us dropping lower here. And it looks like we're probably going to tag this this level, this take profit before the end of New York session. So, but despite all that, there's a ton of opportunities out there. And it's tough trading, dude. So it's so so important to manage your risk, to not overtrade. So many beginner traders overtrade, put too many positions on. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. Like, you put too many positions on, you maybe end up blowing your account or taking a huge loss, and then the trade still goes in the way you thought it was going to, and you're like, fuck, God, dude, I was right the whole time, but I went too huge and blew my account or whatever it was. So so those strategies about how to do that, how to be patient, how to think about it in the long term are strategies that I go over in my training, in the training academy. And yeah, we have some awesome specials right now on that. So I really hope you guys take advantage of that. And I hope to see you in the VIP group. But either way, I got a lot out of this this webinar. I hope you did. So I'll see you maybe one day in the VIP group. And thanks for hopping on here. Yeah, Antonio, appreciate you, dude. Thanks for hopping on. And if you have any questions, shoot me a message in Telegram. And you know, just to show you guys that I'm actually, like, the difference between me and a lot of the trading mentors out there, I'm doing this all day long. You can message me. I will return your messages. And, like, I'm actually trading and not pretending to do this. So if you want somebody that will teach you, that will answer your messages and actually mentor you, and that, like, actually gives a shit about your success, I definitely do. So so that being said, man, shoot me a message if you actually want to take your game to the next level, and if you're serious about doing this. So manage your risk, man. It's a tough trading environment. Be careful out there, and I'll see you in the chat room. All right, everybody. Peace.